You are watching
CRDN
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to Civil Rights Daily News, your #1 source for propagandalist reporting, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Let's get into business. The United States imposes a 50% tariff on Canadian products. Yes, this news came around 1 to 2 a.m. this morning. The United States just imposed the 50% tariffs on over $20 billion worth of Canadian products early Saturday morning. Canada said that it would retaliate after last-ditch negotiations had failed to resolve the latest strain in already tense relationships between both allies. In response, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said in a statement that Canada will match those tariffs dollar for dollar to protect our workers and businesses. End of quote. The cancellation of negotiations came just 2 days after officials thought that the countries were headed towards a rather peaceful compromise in their trade agreement. Nonetheless, here we are today with President Trump saying that he will charge import taxes on 5% of Canadian imports to the U.S. That includes on products like hockey sticks and tongue depressors. Canada also, in exchange, wanted concessions on Trump's tariffs on steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber. But the United States said that they were unwilling to provide that, according to a senior Trump administration official. They had added, tonight, Canada declined to finalize the trade deal under the terms agreed earlier this week. Despite the U.S. offer to Canada to receive the best treatment of any major exporter to our market, new demands and walkbacks of other commitments by Canada have upended the careful balance reached in the past days. This was from the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer in a statement to reporters on the press right before midnight. So let's get into Carney's response, because it seems like there's a lot of blame shifting going on. On one hand, we have America that's saying that they just did not agree with their end of the deal, even though that they tried to offer them the best treatments on the market. But from Carney's perspective, he's blaming Washington, saying that, quote, it was that for the last minute changes in the U.S. proposed terms and that they were unfair, uneconomic, and called into questions the reliability of any deal. Now that's major talk, especially considering how long the United States have had a relationship with Canada, especially as their trading partner. He not only suspended any negotiations, but he also directed Canada's negotiating team to return to Ottawa instantly. No further discussions have been planned about any future negotiations, but such retaliations will not only escalate the trading conflict between both countries, it'll also effectively bring into question future trade negotiations between North America, Mexico, and Canada. Last year alone, the countries sold each other $880 billion worth of goods and services. Now, this could essentially create a potentially bigger economic fallout, but particularly for consumers who are already battling inflation on everyday costs like groceries, gas prices, and housing. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles, and we will continue to keep you updated on this trade agreement.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Civil Rights Daily News, your number one source for propagandalist reporting, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have you been hearing some stories about some horses, particularly some wild horses that have been slaughtered? Well, this is what this story is about. For context, the Wild Free Roaming Horses and Bureaus Act protects wild horses on public lands and prohibits the direct federal slaughter of or sale of wild horses for slaughter. However, there has been a loophole. And under the Trump administration, reports including investigation details that were published by the New York Times had revealed that the BLM program expanded adoption and low-cost sales programs, selling horses for as little as $25 apiece. Buyers have exploited these low-cost sales to purchase wild horses in bulk and resell them to slaughterhouses outside of the United States, like Mexico, where the horse meat is processed for commercial human consumption overseas. People are eating horses. Federal budget cuts, like presidential budget proposals under the Trump administration, have pushed to slash funding for the BLM's Wild Horse and Bureau Act and possibly eliminate longstanding congressional restrictions on mass removal and management options. Policy recommendations aligned with the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 framework had advocated giving federal agencies broader authority to dispose humanely of excess wild horses to free up grazing lands for livestock ranchers. Commercial horse slaughters for human consumption has been functionally banned within the United States since 2007, when Congress defunded USDA inspections for horse slaughter plants. Animal welfare organizations and bipartisan lawmakers have also pushed the administration to issue executive actions or pass the SAFE Act to permanently ban the export of American horses across foreign borders to slaughterhouses, supplying the global horse meat trade. Now let's get into some criticisms that we've been receiving. Some people have been in support of this new thing, and some people have been against it. Some people who have been support are government actions, and they're saying that it would be reducing wild horse populations, and argued that unmanaged herds overgraze public lands damage ecosystems, and compete with cattle for grazing space. So in short, they're saying that it would free up some space on their land for other future cattle farmers. But let's get into what these animal protections are also saying as well. One of the things that the animal protection advocates are criticizing particularly is that government policy loopholes, pointing out that government spending to capture wild horses cost around $3,000 per horse annually. Only to sell them cheaply to commercial meat processors is both inhumane and financially wasteful. So in short, you're spending way more money to give away these horses that you're going to sell for way lower than market value in exchange for meat? Well, we'll get into more details about that when we receive new information about this new act, but leave us your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this new proposed deal? With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Let's go.
Let's get into some new takes that we have discovered on Friday, August 21st, where President Trump had just made an announcement striking a deal to flood the U.S. markets with over 300,000 metric tons of foreign beef, priced drastically lower than market value. Things, when he was asked for where the beef had came from, things started to heat up because his response to that question from the reporters was he didn't want to say, where is this meat coming from? Let's take a look at this social media posting that he released yesterday morning. So on the post, one of the things that he had said was, "Today I concluded a deal substantially lowering the price of ground beef for working American families. As everyone knows, under President Biden, beef prices had soared at their fastest rate, and the American beef herd fell to the smallest size in modern history. As we work to rebuild this herd and help our ranchers for the next 90 days, The United States will allow up to 300,000 metric tons of product for ground beef to be imported with no out-of-quota tariff. We have a commitment that this beef will be sold at, get this, 25% below current market prices. This deal will reduce prices for Americans while giving space for great American beef herd to grow again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald Trump. So I really want to analyze this Truth Social post. The one thing that stood out to me was that he commended himself for lowering the price for alleged ground beef for working class Americans like you and me. But he also blamed President Joe Biden for beef prices, adding that American beef herds had fell to its smallest size in modern history, and that they were working to rebuild with the American farmers. But actually, he's receiving a lot of backlash from these ranchers, particularly on the fact that they're taking away business and putting the business into foreign companies, foreign meat packing companies. And in response, like, we don't know where this meat's coming from. He's not disclosing where the meat's coming from, what this meat is. He's just saying it's ground beef, but we don't know where it's coming from at all. So things are going to be a little bit shaky, but I will say this. This isn't the first time that we've heard of the beef herding shortage. It's not unfamiliar at all. In fact, in recent reporting, Tyson had released a statement otherwise sharing that they had to downsize due to cattle shortages. And at the same time, they also had to lay off their workers in Utah and Illinois. Let's take a look at that picture here. But almost immediately after Trump announced the mystery meat imports of National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the CEO, Colin Woodall, had fired back instantaneously and said that they were disappointed with the president's statement. Well, let's take a look at the entire statement and read it word for word, because they fired back relatively quickly. It's like the same day that he made that announcement, that same day the CEO had responded and said, I have some choice words for you. One of the things that he had mentioned was that not only were they disappointed, he also added that while America's cattle producers shared the goal of keeping groceries affordable for consumers, flooding the market with government-subsidized below-market beef is not the way to rebuild the American cattle herd. Cattle markets have already turned sharply lower this morning, to the detriment of farmers and ranchers alike. This is a critical time of year for cattle producers as we approach the season where they are making decisions regarding their herds. Cattle farmers and ranchers are responding to strong market signals and historically high demand. And we are already working to rebuild after years of ongoing drought, high input costs, and other challenges that have reduced U.S. cattle numbers. Today's announcement and other market interventions throw cold water on the prospect of herd expansion and sacrifices long-term stability for short-term messaging. So that was pretty heated. He did have some choice words, but it's also important to note that cattle futures have also fell drastically to 8-month lows following the announcement. And the backlash that Trump is facing right now isn't only from the concerned consumers or the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, but it's also from individuals who are from families who are looking for stable beef sources to provide for their families. He's also receiving backlash from American ranchers and farmers who are responsible for herding these cattle and are trying to mitigate this issue. This is going to become a very, very lengthy conflict, and we will keep you updated on more information about this story as we receive details on it. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
In local news, New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill has signed sweeping legislation establishing broad legal protections for both reproductive and gender-affirming health care within the state. The new law functions as a shield measure, preventing state officials from cooperating with out-of-state legal actions, subpoenas, or criminal investigations, targeting individuals who seek or provide legal medical procedures in New Jersey. Supporter groups include Planned Parenthood and the LGBTQ advocacy organizations, and they praise the law as a vital step to insulate healthcare access and protect medical providers from politically motivated out-of-state prosecutions. The law also creates new legal standards regarding activities surrounding healthcare facilities by criminalizing acts intended to intimidate, block, or interfere with individuals accessing these services. Law enforcement officers are given the authority to disperse crowds that block entrances or driveways during business hours. While proponents argue that these measures are necessary to ensure safety and prevent harassment, opponents and pro-life advocacy organizations contend that broad phrasing could chill constitutionally protected expression. Critics also warn that terms like intimidation are inherently subjective, raising concerns that peaceful sidewalk counseling, sign holding, or public prayer near clinic perimeters could be classified as illegal interference. Well, there is a difference between legal interference and harassment, but Governor Mickey Sherrill has consistently positioned herself as an outspoken proponent of both abortion access and LGBTQ rights. Throughout her tenure in Congress and now in executive office, Sherrill has advocated for federal and state laws to guarantee abortion access nationwide, co-sponsoring legislation like the Women's Health Protection Act to codify rights previously protected under Roe v. Wade. During her campaign for governor, she repeatedly framed reproductive health care access as a fundamental right and pledged to expand state funding for family planning services. Her stance on abortion centers on ensuring care remains affordable, protecting patients and providers from out-of-state legal liability, as well as safeguarding access to medication, abortion, and IVF treatments. Her position on LGBTQ+ issues mirrors that progressive focus. Sherrill supported federal legislation like the Equality Act to ban discrimination in housing, employment, and in public accommodations based on sexual orientation and gender identity. She also voted for the Respect for Marriage Act to secure federal protections for same-sex marriages. As governor, she has politically backed policy initiatives aimed at safeguarding gender-affirming health care and protecting inclusive school curriculums against legislative bans, framing state-level protections as a necessary safeguard against federal and conservative policy shifts. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Thank you for tuning in to Civil Rights Daily News. I'm SAMIHA Charles. And let's go into some national news. President Donald Trump had just traveled to South Carolina on Friday, August 21st, to directly intervene in the state's tight Republican Senate primary. Addressing a crowd of supporters in Myrtle Beach, Trump had also urged primary voters to rally behind appointed Senator Darlene Graham ahead of next week's primary runoff election. Graham was appointed to Senate last month to fill the seat that was left vacant following the unexpected death of her brother and longtime Senator Lindsey Graham. She is now seeking the Republican nomination to secure a full term. Trump called Graham to the stage during his speech, framing the upcoming vote as vital for advancing his administration's domestic policy agenda, and describing her candidacy as a tribute to her late brother. Graham faces a primary runoff challenger in with Representative Ralph Norman, who finished second in the initial open primary round. Norman has campaigned as an experienced conservative lawmaker and criticized the timing of Graham's political rise, while Graham has also pointed to her administrative background and commitment to the cost of living issues facing working families and as the central focus of her campaign. Darlene has also built her career in public administration and state government, spending years working as a commissioner for the South Carolina Commission for the Blind and also working in vocational rehabilitation. Until recently, she operated outside of partisan electoral politics, though she frequently appeared alongside her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham, during his political campaigns. Their personal connection drew widespread national attention after their parents had passed away early in life, leaving a 22-year-old Lindsey Graham to become the primary and legal guardian of his then 13-year-old younger sister. When Senator Graham passed away unexpectedly, Governor Henry McMaster appointed Darlene Graham to fill the vacant seat until a successor could officially be chosen. President Trump had quickly endorsed her appointment and urged her to seek this full Senate term. Political analysts are attributing the former president's backing to several key factors. Supporting Graham allows the White House to maintain continuity with a familiar family name deeply rooted in South Carolina politics, while avoiding a bitter rift among local Republican leadership. National Party strategists, however, are viewing her non-traditional political background and personal story as effective assets for appealing to suburban and working-class voters in the upcoming general elections. To fill a vacancy in the United States Senate, just for a little bit of context, state and federal laws work together. Under the 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, state governments can also give their governors the power to temporarily appoint a replacement senator when a seat opens up due to death or resignation. That appointee then serves until voters choose a permanent successor in the election. In South Carolina, this rule is written directly into state law under South Carolina Code Section 71920. And the statute gives the governor full legal authority to select someone to step into the role immediately. State law specifies that the temporary appointee holds office until the next general election cycle, providing the official legal basis for Governor Henry McMaster to appoint Darlene Graham to her late brother's seat. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Tune into Civil Rights Daily News, TikTok, YouTube, and our website to catch CRDN Sidelines with Cam and Reggie. All your sports news reporting on a dime. Catch CRDN Sidelines every Wednesday starting May 6th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Catch CRDN Real Take with SAMIHA Charles live Sunday mornings from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. starting May 10th. For Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I'm Jade Lopez.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Let's get into some environmental news, where the federal government has just finalized major changes to the Endangered Species Act, fundamentally altering how the United States protects imperiled wildlife. And under these new rules implemented by the Department of the Interior and the Commerce Department, federal regulators have officially rescinded a decades-old definition of what constitutes harm to protected animals. Since the 1970s, federal law treated the destruction of a species' natural habitat as a direct form of harm. The new framework, however, removes those habitat protections, allowing private and industrial activities like mining, logging, and oil drilling to proceed in those areas, provided the animals themselves are not directly injured or killed. Administration officials defended the move as a necessary return to the original text of the statute, arguing that previous interpretations led to federal overreach and placed unfair economic burdens on farmers, landowners, and energy developers. Wildlife advocates, however, and environmental lawyers are strongly disagreeing with the decision, and they're pointing out that habitat loss is the leading cause of species extinction, warning that removing safeguards for feeding and breeding grounds will push vulnerable populations towards their destruction. Conservation organizations have also announced plans to challenge the rule and change in federal court, setting up a major legal battle over the future of American biodiversity. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles, and we will keep you updated on this decision.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
In entertainment news, the acting community is mourning the death of actor Michael Wright. His passing he was largely known as iconic role Eddie Kane in The Five Heartbeats, as well as in his role in V, Streamers, and The Principal. His death was released by his wife, Susan Wright, who had released it on Instagram on Friday and said, quote, "It is with profound sadness and unimaginable heaviness in my heart that I share the passing of my beloved husband, Michael Wright." End of quote. Wright's family goes on to say that he died in Los Angeles on Wednesday, suffering heart failure, coupled with other complications, as well as a degenerative neurological disease, also known as Marcia Fava Bignami. Michael Wright was 70 years old and will be remembered fondly by the acting community and fans alike who remember and honor his work. With Civil Rights Daily News, I'm SAMIHA Charles. Thank you for tuning in.
are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day. You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Let's get into some gamer news, where the hacker by the name of CyberLeak has been releasing multiple gameplay clips of GTA 6 map. And this is creating a lot of controversy for several reasons, but we'll get into just why in a second. Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive, its parent company, initially didn't respond to the requests for comment, nor have they issued a statement regarding the alleged hack and the leaking of the full entire GTA 6 map. But in recent days, multiple social media posts that share the leak have either been removed or deleted via X or Reddit. They've also taken legal action with Take-Two filing subpoenas petitioning Microsoft and Discord along with the Southern District of New York to release any records related to the online accounts involved in posting and sharing the leaks on Thursday, August 20th. But now both companies are obligated, based off of the subpoena petitioning, to provide those records by September 4th. One of the main reasons that CyberLeak had caused that security breach was, in short, due to protesting efforts against the gaming industry's shift towards digital releases as opposed to physical disc releases. And that's a common theme that a lot of players have been speaking out against, especially via Reddit or on any other area on social media, particularly on Discord as well. In a public post on August 20th, CyberLeak wrote, publishers sell licenses and call them purchases. They ship unfinished games and call them living services. They lock content on discs and call it DLC. He also added, they'll kill games and keep the money. Every year, anti-consumerism tightens its grip, and every year, gamers will get less for what they pay. The 29-year-old game had launched in 1997 and has received a lot of backlash given the fact that, one, they've been waiting for entirely so long. It's been pushed back for years. And also because of the fact that they will be launching the new GTA without a physical disc. The first trailer for the game was released in December of 2023, when we thought we were going to get it that same year or at least the year following. But it was set to release years after that, and another preview was released around this current time as the same leak. And it was supposed to be a trailer, an extended game preview that was released through Netflix about what the game would entail. But nonetheless, we are still going to get that game this year. That's what they're saying. The game is officially slated for release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and will come out on November 19th. We will keep you updated on this game release. They have been pushing back the release for quite some time, so we are really fingers crossing that they stay true to it. But from the looks of it, they show that they're really serious about releasing this game on November 19th, and I, for one, am looking forward to it as a GTA fan. Let us know in the comments what your favorite GTA game was, whether it was GTA 4, GTA 5, and if you're looking forward to the new GTA 6. Also, if you felt if CyberLeak's security breach was valid, leave us your comments below in the TikTok comments or on social media like YouTube or on our website, CRDN.NEWS.com. But otherwise, that's all that we have for tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in to Civil Rights Daily News, your #1 source for propagandalist reporting, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I will see you guys in our next newscast. Until then, stay safe, drink some water, and stay cool. Have a good one.
You are watching
CRDN.
Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 24 hours a day.
Tune into Civil Rights Daily News, TikTok, YouTube, and our website to catch CRDN Sidelines with Cam and Reggie. All your sports news reporting on a dime. Catch CRDN Sidelines every Wednesday starting May 6th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Catch CRDN Real Take with SAMIHA Charles live Sunday mornings from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. starting May 10th. For Civil Rights Daily News, recycling only the truth in rotation 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I'm Jade Lopez.